Hi, this is Greg Hughes from 90-Second Website Builder. I'd like to show you some tools in this great software that help you sort of organize your objects and images, text, and other web elements that are in your project here in 90-Second Website Builder. We're going to work with what's called the Arrange menu. It's here at the top. If I click on Arrange, you can see I have a number of options that really help kind of clean up and straighten out the objects you're working with. Because as you're using a drag and drop web design program, you can just, of course, drag things around and drop them wherever you want. But sometimes you want to get things kind of lined up and straight. Well, there are a few tricks to doing that quickly. So I'm going to scroll down here and show you some of the basics of alignment. Here I have three text objects. Here's a text object of course, a couple of paragraphs and another one here. And sometimes I like to make text, in sort of columns here. And so what I want to do now is I want these to line up. Well, of course, I could always just kind of do it the hard way and just move them into place. And if I really wanted to check my work, I could go down and look at the properties inspector to see the position of these and make sure they're all the same. But there's a much faster way to do it. So let me mess them up again here and show you how we do that. So I'm going to select all three of these, and you can multiple select objects by using the Shift key. When you click on an object, that selects it. If I hold down the Shift key and click on a second object, now I'm multiple selected. So I've selected both these objects. And now I'm going to select this third object right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the software to align these tops. And what it's going to do is it's going to align everything to the top of the last object I selected. So that means this paragraph here will be sort of the anchor point, which means these first two will align with the top of this. So let me go up to the Arrange menu, and I'm going to pull down Align Tops. And you can see that these two paragraphs lined up with this one, because this one was the last one I selected. And now that there's still multiple selected, I could still move them around in a group too, like this, if I want to. Let's do it again. I'm going to mess them up, though, just for the sake of demonstration. And let's go put this one up here and this one down here. So what happens is I'm going to select the first one, the second one, and the third one. And when I go to Arrange, Align Tops, you can see they aligned with this one because this was the last one I chose. That's just one of the basic cleanup tools, features, to make sure things are kind of nice and straight. And again, because they're multiple selected, I could move them all in one. I could also group these things together if I really want to. So since they're all selected, if I go up here to Group and group the objects, I can now keep them all in one object so that when I move them around, they'll stay together. And you can also ungroup an object by going up here and select Ungroup. Now they're back to their individual objects. So that will help you kind of manage how things line up on your website. You can see I have some other short pieces of text, and it's kind of crooked and in random spacing. Let me show you another really great tool. So these are some bullet points I want to have here on this website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiple select all of these, and I want to first make them sort of spaced evenly. Well, we've even got a way to do that. So if I go up here to Align, I can choose Distribute Vertically. Now I'm choosing vertically because they're going up and down. If they were next to each other side by side, I'd distribute horizontally. But what I'm going to do is distribute vertically. Watch what happens. So now all of these text objects are the same distance apart. They haven't been aligned yet. They're still crooked on the edge, but at least by distributing them vertically, they've spaced out in a nice even way. So while there's still multiple selected, I'll go up to Align the left edges, and you can see what I have now. Basically, in just a couple of clicks, I have all of this text in a nice straight line. If I wanted to put bullet points next to these, I could do that. So I'll take one there, and I'm going to do a Control-C to copy that and paste another one here. And instead of sitting here trying to make it nice and straight, I'm just going to make a bunch of them and get them close. Paste another one, kind of put that there, paste another one. You can say I don't have to keep it straight because the software can do that for me. So pick the one that I like. I think I like them being like this one. This one's nice and close to the B. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to multiple select, and I'm going to have them all align. We can do lefts or rights. I'm actually going to have them align the centers because they're all the same size anyway, so they'll be nice and straight. There we go. It just basically bumped everything over. And now I've got some really nice straight bullet points. Pretty easy. The other thing we can do with the Arrange menu is we can move things forward and backward. I'll show you what I mean. You know, when you bring out a new object onto the website, let me go grab an image here with the image tool, and I'll get this arrow. I have an object here that's actually on top of everything else because it was the last object on the page. So you can see it covers over these objects because it's on top of them. But this is called the Z order, if you want to know the HTML lingo. And you can change the Z order of an object, or whether it's on top or behind something, by using the Arrange tools. So, for example, if I wanted this to be behind this particular object, I could select it. So I could say move this to the back. Now I'm going to go move to back. And now you can see this object is actually behind these objects here. But you may be wondering, well, if it was moved to the back, how come it didn't go behind this blue area? Well, that's because this blue area is actually the background of the page, and you can't go any farther back behind the background. You can only move objects in front of or behind other objects that are on top of the background. So this blue object here is not an image that I put here with the image tool. It's a background that I placed in the page properties that looks like this. It's this image right here called back. So when we're moving things front and back, forward and back, we're just talking about these objects here. That's another very important feature as you're moving things around. Sometimes you'll want things to sit on top of another thing or bump up against it, and so being able to change that Z order or where it sits on the page is really important. Another thing we can do with the Arrange tool is we can rotate an object. Let's use this arrow, for example. I might want this arrow to point to my video, and notice, look, it's behind my video, so I don't want that. I want to move it forward, so now it's selected, so I'm going to move it all the way to the front. Okay, so now my arrow is on top of this image here, but it's kind of pointing too far down for me, so I want to rotate it a little bit. It's selected because I've clicked on it. I'm going to click on the Rotate tool, and now the little handles, you're used to seeing those little handles, those little white boxes, are now green circles. That means I can grab any one of these and rotate the image like this. Change how it looks. There we go. So now it points a little better to my video. I'll click away, and it's done. And now the handles change back to what they were. So I've just rotated this image, moved it forward, and then rotated it to make a little bit more sense here for the look of my website. Here's another thing you can do with the tools that are found in the Arrange menu. And you'll notice that there is this tool called Lock and Unlock. Now, this tool doesn't really have anything to do with the final output of your website, but it's a really handy tool while you're in design mode. So for example, since I have all of these objects out here, here's this image, here's some text, and each of these objects are separate text, and each of these are separate images. As I'm moving things around and designing, sometimes you can accidentally, select objects you didn't want to move. Oops, I didn't mean to grab those. And then you have to go put them back to where they were. So once you have something in place right where you want it, you can lock it down so you don't accidentally grab it and move it. So let's say I had these exactly where I want them, and I don't want to keep bumping them. Well, one of the things I can do is select all of them. And by the way, I'm dragging my mouse to draw a selection box over them. And I've selected all of these objects. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock them. Go to the Arrange menu, and I'm going to lock all of these selected objects. So now when I go to move them, I actually can't. I'm clicking on it and trying to move these things and drag them, but they're actually locked, which is good because as I'm bumping around, I won't have to worry about moving them. It doesn't matter whether you leave them locked or unlocked with your finished project. It doesn't change your code any. It's just for making it easy for you as you're working in design mode and as you're moving things around. So as you can see, it's a great idea to learn how to use these tools in the Arrange menu just to keep your website objects and elements straight and lined up. Makes your workflow go a little bit smoother and helps you build a great website with 90-Second Website Builder.